Hey guys, it's Toolbox
and Nishi here. What is up?
So today we're gonna talk about the good,
the bad,
and the Toolbox.
No, and the OPAF. So, as I'm sure you guys know, we have a new Master Rule 2020 coming into effect April 1st of next year.
Yes, and it seems like it's going to be applying to TCG as well.
Yes,
previously mentioned was like, oh, it's OCG only, but no, we're getting it for both sides.
And honestly, I'm really glad that we're getting it. I think it's a very positive change for the game overall.
I think this is a good step, Konami. Konami did a good thing.
I think this is great.
The initial reception right now is positive.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think it opens up a lot of decks that people previously weren't able to play, or like they wanted to play before.
It's cluttery. They kept on tripping over their own play because they had to commit too many monsters just to open the links.
Yes. But now people can summon those Synchros, Fusions, or Xyz monsters to any of those main monster zones where they're not restricted and don't have to have link arrows pointing to them. So it's kind of like a combination of Master Rules 3 and 4.
So it's 3.5. It is not Master Rule 5. People keep on saying MR5, but it's MR2020.
MR2020. Yeah.
Whatever. We're calling it 2020.
Yes.
I'm going to call it 2020 for now, unless they officially dub it as MR5. Mm-hmm. But it's not. It's 3.5 at best.
Okay, so what we're doing in today's video, we're going to kind of take a look at some of the good, the bad, and the newly OP cards and decks and strategies under Master Rule 2020.
And this is something that we just took our time to just try and discuss among ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we just kick it off right now with the good decks. Some of the decks that did come back. I know you guys left a lot of comments, and we're bringing them to the forefront right now.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been kind of talking about decks that are newly more viable because they have more flexibility with going into their extra deck under the new Master Rule.
Zoning does not matter as much.
I think for myself, I think a big one that I'm really looking forward to is Invoked, because I have played like variants like Mech Knight Invoked in the past, and I think now they're going to be able to summon out those fusion monsters, get those onto the board, as well as hopefully go back to utilizing that Wind Witch engine, which kind of saw play with when Invokes kind of started off.
I do like it that you can go into that Crystal Wing early. You don't have to worry about the Nibiru as much.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the biggest problems is if you do get Nibiru. Although Nibiru shouldn't be that big of an issue, especially when you can just drop the Mechaba onto the board and then you can negate and banish it.
So you can set up Mechaba pretty early. You can set up the early Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon.
Well, you can't use both in this case. In this case, you can't use both. We know. But it's just an option for you guys to like set up ways to block Nibiru. So Nibiru kind of get a little shafted in terms of setting up early negations while not needing to manipulate your arrows to like maximize the amount of summons you can get out.
It was really difficult to play with before, but
it became like a going second deck.
Yes, it could only go second, right? It was really restricted before, but now it kind of opens up a lot more routes of play.
For sure. And if you want to go more OTK centric, you can still go into the Link Alistair, which is very easy, very generic way to summon out like and add more like Book of the Law.
Search Book of the Law, and you can
push for
get
the
that OTK going through. Yeah.
Second
next deck.
Shaddoll's.
Yes. So I swear they knew, because we're getting that Shaddoll structure deck in February, and there's no Shaddoll Link monster that's in the structure deck. They do have like Shaddoll Construct, which is the Shaddoll Link monster that we saw like a year or two ago.
But that's like two flip monsters.
Yeah, it's whatever, right? Like no one's really playing that, but under the new Master Rule, we don't have to have zones opened up to summon those Shaddoll Fusion monsters into. We can flood the board with Shaddoll Fusions, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, we can get that check. We have all our constructs back. Construct is, of course, our aggro pusher. I think we have the new fusions as well, which does add another layer of depth to the deck. I think it's a very good add. Let's go on to the next one. All these decks that we're talking about, of course, things that don't rely on links. They're just synchros, they're fusions, and with the synchro, now it's and the fusion. I guess most of our decks that we're talking about right now are fusions, and this one is also fusion. Thunder Dragons.
Okay, so I mean, admittedly, Thunder Dragons are a part of the current meta, so I'm definitely expecting this deck to get hit on an upcoming ban list. It has to be.
Please don't panic. Just let me just summon.
No.
Let me summon one.
No.
Okay. let me finish this.
Okay.
We get ourselves the very first Thunder Dragon Roar, and we activate a Thunder Dragon. So we get Thunder Dragon Roar on board by tribute summoning. Sure.
Okay.
Now we're gonna tribute that one off for a Colossus. That's gonna summon out the Dark. We're gonna tribute that one off for another Colossus.
Yeah.
Now we get the Hawk. Activate the Hawk.
You have to pay zero attention to zoning with Thunder Dragons under the new Master Rule, and it's
you can get 3 Colossus and a Titan.
For free. Literally for nothing.
Have fun, Sky Striker. Even with all your cards, even triple Widow Anchor.
Even if you had 3 Widow Anchor, you still kind of die.
You need Super Poly.
Yeah, literally. So, Thunder Dragons, I mean, obviously really, really strong under the new Master Rule, but we're definitely expecting the deck to get hit before that Master Rule comes into effect. I am.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not...
Me too. Me too. I believe it's just the truth. I don't think a deck should be like that powerful. And even if your opponent like Super Poly uses away all your Thunder Dragon Colossus. Like, they can take 2 of them and turn it into a Starving Venom, or you can take 3 of them and turn it into their own type, but no one puts their Titan in there anyway, so it's most likely to be a Starving Venom, and he's still sitting with 1. Fun fact, I'll just play 1 copy of Thunder Dragon Fusion. Oh, I'm back in the game!
Everything goes back. Absolutely everything, and it's just so silly. Like, I don't even want to think about it. Next up, we have DDD. So DDD are definitely one of the more heavily talked about decks. I think because they never really had their time to shine in the TCG.
They were always overshadowed by another deck, Zodiac.
And they came to the TCG like 2 years late. Like
they were missing a lot of cards.
Yeah, well, because we got that structure deck during Zoo format.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the deck is very fun. I think it's really interesting. It has a lot of different lines of play.
But they still suffer from one big weakness. This weakness existed since the beginning. Hand traps, and there's more variety of hand traps. What's worse is now there's also the tin cards. Nibiru adds another card that they have to answer, and they don't really negate stuff that's not on the field. They negate stuff that are on the field, which is like, you've just committed a lot of resources to making these plays, and I'm like, Nibiru.
I mean, or maybe we'll get a card like Crossout Designator.
Yeah, maybe.
And that'll help push DDD through.
But there's a problem though. Dark Ruler no more. Oh, your whole board's kind of
that's true. I mean, the game's kind of evolved to where DDD can't be super successful.
It's kind of sad.
It's very difficult. But, I mean, I think there's a lot of players that are really excited for the chance to play DDD because they never really had their chance.
And they can still go into, Kali Yuga? If they can set up
that's a good card.
Yeah, if they can set up the initial Kali Yuga play, that is like, that's game. That's those so-called unbreakable board FTKs.
Next deck.
Okay, we're moving away from, like, fusions, and we're moving away from Xyz. We're going to go into Synchros. And for Synchros, Synchrons. You want to bring this one in?
Okay, so I don't know if you guys know this card, Junk Speeder. So it is the tin card. It's literally like when it's Synchro summon, you get to summon as many Synchrons from your deck as possible.
Wait, what?
With different levels. And it's literally like, I'm going to bring out 5 Synchron monsters from my deck if I summon Junk Speeder to the extra monster zone. But it locks you into Synchros.
But doesn't that make it so that you have to run a bunch of bricks?
Yeah.
But are there Synchrons that you can just like abuse?
Yeah. I think that the ability to get so many monsters on the board, and like you still have all access to all the cards in your hand. Because I mean, like at worst you probably make like 2 cards into the Junk Speeder. Okay. You still have like 4 cards in your hand that you can play with. You can use cards like Doppel Warrior, which you link off or you synchro off, and then it puts the tokens onto the board. We have cards like Steve the Cloak. We have cards like Mecha Phantom Beast, O-Lion. A lot of like different combo extenders in the game right now that can very strongly benefit from not having to play into those link arrows.
Okay. I like this.
I honestly think that like that card is going to be really, really scary, and we're going to see a lot of different decks that try to make like triple shooting Quasar Dragon, double Cosmic Blazer Dragon or something.
That's not fun.
It's going to be doable.
That sounds like one of those problems I've mentioned.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Then we have another deck that was really strong before Link Arrows. Well, it's still pretty strong even now. ABCs.
It's an okay deck.
ABCs because ABCs were able to abuse links themselves. ABCs were able to like, I'll just put them into the graveyard. The link did benefit them, but taking away links also like ignoring zoning also benefited them as well, because now they don't have to care. They can actually play much more aggressive.
Yes.
And anything that didn't like really die because they had links, taking away the links only made them stronger per se.
Yeah. So like ABC, they had to go, instead of making something like Tsukuyomi, you had to open up, like you'd had to get rid of the monsters and go into like that Link 2 that opened up an arrow so that you could summon the ABC Dragon Buster. But now you can just have like Tsukuyomi and ABC Dragon Buster in those main monsters.
And they can still link them off.
And you can still make Link plays, right? Yeah. But like you're just not restricted anymore in that same way.
Yeah, that's why ABC's definitely, and there's also that Union Carrier stuff coming around. Although Union Carrier is abused in different ways.
That card is so abusable. Holy! But that's a topic for another video.
Yeah, that's a different one. Okay, another one that I'm pretty excited about. This is one that I hope a lot of GB players come back. GB, Gladiator Beast. In the current combo, it's better that you play as a going second deck because you can break a board while generating monsters just to go into Link plays. You can go into Panther. Panther is still a really amazing card because it offers you the ability to search, and a lot of the new cards that came out, that's basically Monster Reborn. It's just Monster Reborn that's just free.
Yeah.
But the problem is you wanted to always summon out your Tamer Editor. But the Tamer Editor only summons stuff from the extra deck, and that requires you to lock you into arrows. But taking away the arrows, you can abuse the crap out of this card. Any card that is like an Aggro Pain, any card that summons out extra deck monsters, had a bit of restriction because of links. But once you took that away, I mean,
all these decks are going to run rampant.
You're just going to see them spam. There are going to be new ways, like, they'll link them off. They'll link them off simply just to put the editor back in the graveyard so they can resummon it because it's not hard once per turn. The simple fact that it is not hard once per turn makes GB very scary. Can you imagine just turn one, they don't care about their arrows. They just put the editor in the grave and just start spamming. They're like, first one, we'll get ourselves the Heraclinos. Then we'll get ourselves the Damatianus. We're just going to spam all the bosses so we negate everything you can play.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what GB is going for.
Yeah.
I would like to see that. And the Gazeras is scary too. Gazeras pop 2 cards and they swing and then they reach the full board.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the least.
And speaking of one more thing, and this one's actually related to links. This is just a little bonus story and like things that are good under the new MR2020. Yeah. Like rockets, stuff like rockets, and they're like things that play every single kind of typing.
They play all the different mechanics, yeah.
Yes, so if they have all the summoning mechanics, the thing about rockets is that they needed to open up their zones. They always finish with their big negator, and before they can finish the big negator, they could get hit by like a Nibiru, something like that.
Yeah.
But now they can change up the order and not worry about the zoning. They can go into an earlier variant of, say, a Borrowload Savage Dragon, get the negation out on the board first,
and then combo off from there.
And combo off from there. So they can rearrange the combo so it's much safer to do the combo, where this ultimately weakens some of these hand traps.
Yes. Well, it's good because it rewards people playing that deck smarter. Yes. Which is definitely a positive for the game.
So, yeah. Rockets, I'm pretty sure you guys are manipulating.
Good rocket players.
Good rocket players. I mean, it actually makes it so that it's more plausible for people to play the fusion. A Borrowload Furious Dragon.
Okay, yeah.
Because if you can play Borrowload Fusion, you can get the pop. You can actually play the fusion. It's actually beneficial. You're not locking out your own zones. And it definitely adds another level of play. It's like almost having like a Pankratops at your disposal. So it's pretty nice.
For sure. So on to the next section. So we're looking at cards that maybe aren't necessarily bad, but maybe aren't as good under the new Master Rule.
It's good. It's good that they lowered the prices of some of these cards too.
Yes. So like, I mean, when we talk about the new Master Rule 2020, we're not taking anything really away from the game. We're adding this new element where you can summon we're just enabling the Synchro, the Fusion, and the EC-centric decks.
Like when it comes to cards that are specifically targeting links, or like playing within like a strict restriction of links, those cards definitely took a bit of a hit in some sense.
So I mean, the first one here that is definitely Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon.
That only interacts with the extra monster zone.
So it only interacts with the extra deck monster zone. So it's still good against link-centric decks because your opponent has to go into that extra monster zone in order to link. Yes. But against like Shaddolls or something, they don't necessarily need to summon a monster into that zone. They can, but if you're smart and you know that your opponent's going to be playing that like Cyber Dragon type stuff, you're summoning it to the main monster zone. Cyber Dragon, Chimera Tech, Mega Fleet Dragon, pretty useless there.
I'd rather play a Fortress to deal with machines now than
and
like
for sure.
Anyone that's not playing with the extra monster zone, this card's pretty dead.
Yeah.
But if you're playing Cyber Dragons, you still keep this.
Well, Cyber Dragons, you still keep
utility.
it in
its utility, but you wouldn't run as many copies as before.
And it's not something that you're even going to be able to make every game, right? Like if your opponent's smart, they're going to play around it.
It's true. Before people played like what, two copies of it, just to eat up.
Generally,
I'm putting this down to 1.
Yeah,
like, definitely cutting it down.
Yeah, for sure.
Another card that's kind of went down, not because links are bad or anything, but it's Inspector Border.
Yeah.
Like, this is just kind of a minor situation, but you're going to see more people being able to go into their synchros, their XCs, their fusions, and therefore enabling their effects. Before, the problem was they would like make a link, and then they would try, and then they would burn the effect on the link, and then if they try to do anything else, you're just locked out. But now you're not as locked out, and
you can go directly into that.
Black Rose, just blow up the board. and then Inspector Border's dead, and now you make your play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. It actually makes Black Rose actually a lot better of a card.
That's true. Okay.
Well,
next card, and I think a lot of people are going to be happy about this one, but this is Phantasme. And
tank draw, like price tanking, like crazy.
Yes. So I believe it right now I'm seeing the card at like $70 to $75.
What was it before?
And this is like down from like 90. And this is only like a few days after the announcement of the new Master Roll. So obviously Phantasme, it's only good against Link decks, right? Because you can only summon it when your opponent Link summons a monster.
Yeah.
Your opponent isn't playing Link monsters, Phantasme can't really be summoned.
If I'm playing Thunder Dragon, I'm not gonna bother with Links anymore.
Yeah, no, for sure.
No, I'm just gonna abuse Titan and Colossus. I'm just gonna bother with that and probably make Xyz. I'm just gonna make
if anything, you're going into Dingirsu, you're going to Sanafon, something like that.
Yeah.
But Phantasme, I think that whereas before we were seeing people play it in the main deck, we're gonna see that shift into the side deck.
Yes.
And I think it's still gonna be a decent card against those more Link-centric strategies. It's not the staple that it once was before.
Okay. And another set of cards that aren't as good, I would say, is the Topologic series, namely Zero Boros, and to some degree, for me, Bomber anyway. Because one of the biggest problems with these cards is that they're so Link Aerocentric. First of all, with Topologic Zero Boros, once they use their effect the first time, they point to the two zones. If you try to use those two zones, it'll just banish everything, which becomes a bit of a problem to open the play. But now you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go on the side. I'm just gonna ignore it altogether, and you have to activate it yourself.
Yeah.
But once you activate it the first time, I won't be able to proc anymore, and you won't be able to proc it either.
Yeah.
Because you can't normal or summon to those extra monster zones that it points to, and it doesn't point to any of the side zones either.
Yeah.
So
it's too easy to play around. Zero Boros is honestly kind of like a dead card right now.
And as for like Bomber Dragon, if you don't have to play into those zones, you can open you can play one Link without proccing anything. That's fine. One Link, it won't proc anything because you're using the extra monster zone to go into it, so nothing's pointing to it. And then for everything else, spam it everywhere.
Yeah.
Spam everywhere else except for that one zone it points to. And you're like, oh, I dodged everything. Wow, easy mode. So it does give you that easy play.
Last, like, as a kind of like note about bad cards, what I want to say is Link monsters that their sole purpose was to open up Link zones in certain decks
are no longer useful.
Like that card.
Pointless. You can't use it to make Boral Sword Dragon or Borlo Dragon.
Yeah. Like that, but like I mean, also if we look at a deck like Paleozoic needed to go into Mistar Boy in order to open up the zones for you to summon like multiple Totally Awesome.
Yes.
Now that Mistar Boy is completely irrelevant because you were giving up 2 water monsters anyways. Now you can just go into triple Totally Awesome.
But hey, okay, just playing devil's advocate here.
Sure, okay.
What if you want to boost your attack? I'd still leave a copy
so
in
Ragna Zero is going to be a good card again.
I don't know. What if you want to boost the attack? I mean, it makes sense. Toad's not the strongest monster. 27 Toad is much better than 22.
Well, yeah, okay, sure. But I mean, like, I would rather have that third negate than a 500 attack point boost, to be fair. So,
but when it's destroyed, you get to add a water back. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I think you understand what I'm saying.
If that's OTK, then sure. If I can get the OTK.
Okay. I mean, like, admittedly, they will probably still play the one copy of Mistar Boy as an option to boost the attack to run over something.
Well, if you want to run over something in OTK, then yes, that's your scenario now.
But it's no longer something that you have to go into all the time. And I think that in a lot of different, like, those other strategies that wanted to play, like the Synchros, the Fusions, or the Xyz, they played those generic monsters for the sole purpose of opening up Link zones. And that's no longer as necessary if you're playing those Synchro, Fusion, or Xyz strategies.
That's true. I do agree on that point. And with that said, let's take a look at some cards that are
OP.
So, starting off with the first one.
Okay.
Super Polymerization.
Okay, let me just say, Super Polymerization is going to be the most busted card of the April 2020 format if it is not hit on the ban list.
It needs limitation.
It has to be limited or banned.
Remember why it got hit. Shaddoll was the reason why it got hit.
Yeah.
Shadal killed you with that card. You'd be like, attack, and super poly, your guy off, and now I attack again, and you're dead. 28, and one more hit. Wow.
It's
easy.
just the fact that it's a quick play, so it can sort of be used offensively if you want to kill your opponent, and you can use it defensively, right? If you can disrupt your opponent at just the right time, you can break their board extremely easily. They can't negate it unless they have like Imperial Order face up already. Like, sure, but...
I mean, if you have super poly... Which would you choose? Would you choose Mystic Mine or Super Poly? People are gonna choose Mystic Mine as like the more balanced one because it forcing people to run like back row removal.
I mean, I don't like Mystic Mine either,
I
but I mean, at that point, Super Poly is extremely degenerate.
Okay.
Like the fact that you can't respond to it. If it was like a normal spell or something,
if you can negate
sure.
it,
yeah. If you can negate it or play around it, sure. The fact that it's a quick play is so ridiculous. I'm just like, it's crazy.
I know it's gonna be pretty busted. Next one, Junk Speeder. You want to play this one?
So we kind of already talked about Junk Speeder when we talked about Synchrons.
Okay.
But I definitely think that Junk Speeder is a card that you guys should be looking at.
Can you link with those guys?
No, so Junk Speeder locks you into Synchros for the rest of the turn.
Oh.
Fortunately.
Okay.
That would be so broken otherwise. But I mean, I'm still keeping a very close eye on the deck and seeing what people come up with because I do think.
Did you see some Quasar ones already?
I've seen a couple of different builds where they. I saw an assault mode build that looked pretty cool.
That's pretty gross.
There's
assault modes actually get a lot better too because now you can actually get rid of some of the stuff. Stardust.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of interesting stuff there. Another card I want to talk about is Nibiru.
Gets better.
Yeah, so
DDD. Can't play through this.
Yeah, so Nibiru being something that's going to be able to hit all of those special summon centric decks, and without that restriction of link arrows, we're going to see so many decks that are able to flood the board with those special summon monsters.
I feel like the tin cards definitely gain a huge boost.
Yeah, well,
definitely.
Yeah, so Nibiru being a big one, but also Dark Ruler No More being like one of those cards that can break a board that's set up all of those extra deck monsters.
Yeah,
very strong card as well.
So that would be number 4. But for number 5, we have Dimensional Barrier. Finally, yes. Because we're not locked to only playing links. Well, we can stun pendulums, we can stun Xyz, we can stun fusion, stun synchros. This is probably
we can stun rituals.
Oh yeah, rituals. Really, I forgot about that. Wow. Okay, so yeah, Dimensional Barrier is going to perhaps see play in the side deck again.
Yes, I think Dimensional Barrier is a great side deck card.
I mean, you can use it to turn off all the Thunder Dragons, and you can prevent your opponent from even being able to summon the Colossus out.
Yeah, or you can chain it to something like Shadal Fusion
and lock them out.
That's a very, very big play. You can lock them out of their extra deck basically altogether. I mean, admittedly, like
they'll still play links then. They'll be, I'll just link some of them.
I think Shadal's still gonna play links. I think they're playing Cloth Sheep for sure. Like that card's just so broken with Shadal's. But I mean, like they're good. I think a card like Dimensional Barrier is gonna require flexibility from these other decks. So if you're playing Shadal's where you're only playing fusion monsters, D-Barrier is punishing you really hard. But if you're adapting and you're including like a couple of different like link monsters, a couple of different Xyz monsters where you're adapting to the game and you're playing around Dimensional Barrier, it's rewarding those players for good creative deck building, and I think it's going to be a big step.
Hey, I am all for creative deck building.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
Upgrading that gives the game life, gives new life to the game.
No, for sure. Like that innovation aspect is really important.
That's where all those big players go in. Like Duelist Academy with Jesse Cotton and all those guys. Maybe they'll have more insight. Maybe you guys can share some of your insight, guys. Okay, but another really cool card. This is kind of a personal favorite.
Okay,
Ultimaya Zolkin. And Destrudo combo.
Yes.
Okay, if you're gonna be playing Dangers. If you're gonna be playing Dangers, let's just say this is pretty easy for you. You have a lot of options. If you're playing like Dangers, Thunder, or whatever, you can go into this card. This is your new aggro pin. You can summon up that Crystal Wing. You can use it to stun out Nibiru.
Yeah, you have like a lot of different options. Crystal Wing, Black Rose Moonlight Dragon,
yes,
Stardust Dragon, Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend.
I think there's gonna be a lot of decks that are able to summon out Zolkin because for instance, for Destrudo, if you summon it out straight from the deck, it's 7, and if you have a Nessie, you have 2 7s. That's so easy.
I mean, LP's still a card.
LP is a card, that's why it's so easy. But another way to get it is to lower the level. If you hit it with a 1, you have a 6, then you can use one of your Thunders. Like your Thunder Dragon Roars. Go ahead, now we made the same dude. If you go into 5s, That's also a possibility if you eat up a level 2. I'm not sure if 2 is a possibility.
Galaxy Serpent?
Maybe. If you can put yourself down to 5, then you can still do it. There's a lot of options. That's just one tuner.
Yeah, like there are a lot of other options, right? Like Coral Dragon is a level 6 synchro monster in the extra deck that you can use with something like Malicious. Right, so that's a thing. And then as far as level 5s go, I mean, Ib the World Chalice Justiciar is a level 5 tuner.
That's a tuner.
That's a tuner.
I forgot about that.
That is insane.
I forgot about that one.
And then also Sea Monster of Theseus is a tuner as well that you can
instant fusion.
Yes. So I mean, like definitely, there's a lot of potential for Ultimate Vulcan.
This summons out a level 7 or 8 dragon.
Dragon Synchro, or like a power tool card.
I feel like even Stardust, to some degree, is a pretty decent card to put out onto the field.
I mean, like, you're going first, you've set up a start. I mean, like, Stardust Dragon, when we get that new Raigeki Storm and Ignition Assault,
it's gonna make more sense.
Sure.
It's gonna make more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, number 7, Bahamut Shark and Toad.
Yes.
This one is just silly. Because it kind of can already do it a little bit, but
it's very similar to like Ultimate
again, these are like a lot of these cards that got better are the ones that straight up summoned out something else.
Yeah, these like Aggrepain.
Yeah, Aggrepain. Maybe they should get mitigated a little bit.
Well, the thing I'm worried about with Bahamut Shark is that outside of something like Mermail, what can really make and abuse Bahamut Shark? Just Mermail.
Yeah.
And Mermail's a going second deck.
No, there's another deck. Marine says can do it. They have level 4s, right?
Okay, yeah.
Do they? They have 3s?
I think.
Oh, Blue Tank. Blue Tank's 4.
Okay. Okay, so you use the Blue Tank.
Blue Tank Aqua Spirit. Here we go. We got it, boys. We found a new
new tech. Marin says best deck, April 2020.
Let's do it, guys. Let's bring them to the forefront.
Yes. So number 8.
Number 8 is Ghost Reaper. This hand trap has fallen behind 100%.
Yes.
Because most people run multiple copies, or you just don't have enough to actually answer to this card. Like, you're not going to use this card against, say, a deck like Orcus. They'll spin stuff back in. They'll figure a way to put it back in.
There's too many ways to play around it now.
But if a deck only focused on their bosses, ignoring the variety of cards that they can actually play to kind of make it more versatile, they can get heavily punished with one Ghost Reaper.
I mean, like, if you're looking at something like Shadal's, you can punish them very hard by using Ghost Reaper to hit Construct.
Yeah.
That's a very big hit for that deck. And, like, the deck can still function,
but it's much weaker.
It's really hard.
It's much weaker.
Right?
And, of course, we already mentioned Dark Lunar War, so I guess we're going to Ib.
Yes.
Ib, the World Chalice Justiciar. Not needing to take up the extra monster zone is so good.
Yes.
You just put it to the side, and you can still make big plays.
And I mean, like, Ib is such an important card because it provides 2 additional combo extenders.
Yes.
Right? On summon, it searches for either World Legacy Succession, or World Legacy Guard Dragon, or World Legacy Monstrosity. And then when it goes to Graveyard, it summons World Chalice Guard Dragon out of the deck.
Yeah.
Right? That's 2 really big.
That's 2 card extension right there.
Yeah.
And it's a tuner. Don't forget it's a tuner.
Yeah, so you can
I think we are going to get, like, Needle Fiber or...
in Dual Overload.
What's the current name for it?
Halicabrafax or something.
Halicabrafax or whatever.
Something like that. But it gives you access to Ultimate Vulcan, and it also gives you access to Needle Fiber. In addition to providing those 2 additional extenders. Crazy card.
Yeah.
Grab your copies now, like, actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then finally, we're going to talk about just rank 4s in general. Rank 4s is going to be a very big part of the game. Abyss Dweller is so much more powerful because you can open with it, put it to the side. You don't have to work around to play it in the zones. Yeah. Again, this is kind of what I mentioned about the Rockets, about rearranging the order of their combo, because zoning does not matter as much, especially if you're not playing with just links. Excited Knight can blow up the entire board.
Excited Knight's a very important card now.
So overcommitting is going to be quite punishing. With Tornado Dragon, if you don't want to discard cards out of your hand, like basically when you go into a Nightmare Phoenix, you're committing about 3 cards worth. If you're not playing Dangers or something that can synergize with that discard, go into Tornado Dragon. You have 2 pops rather than just
2 pops, slightly bigger body.
Yeah.
And it, like, you don't have to, like, if you're playing that link strategy, it kind of restricts you.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have that downward pointing arrow. But Tornado Dragon, you can summon off to the side.
Another very scary card that everyone really hates when it's on the board, Baguska.
Yes, definitely. Oh my god, I hate that card.
Can you imagine just opening with a Baguska on the side and just passing turn. This works better for the people that are playing link-based strategies because your effects don't get turned off because you can't go into defense position. So if you open with like Baguska, goodbye.
What if you open like Baguska, Unicorn, Phoenix, Cerberus, and you just start drawing 3 cards every turn until you kill your opponent?
Yeah, well, you'll start detaching, but still.
For like 2 turns, that's 6 cards over 2 turns.
That's pretty gross.
That's
pretty
like,
gross.
I mean, Baguska's being fairly restrictive. I mean, like, I think the thing about rank 4s, they were harder to take advantage of before because you had to dedicate that link zone to opening up in order to summon them.
In other words, you can't put it at the forefront of the first few steps of the combo. You have to always put it at the end, and that means you have to manage your resource. Right now, if I were to play this current MR2020 with something like Safer Thunder, I can open with the Dweller first, play around everything else on the side, because getting that level 4 was the hard part. I can detach one early just to put the monster into the graveyard and then manipulate
for sure.
it. It's like so much easier.
Yes.
I just don't know. It's just not a problem anymore.
Yeah, no. Holy, rank 4s. I mean, like, rank 4, I think, is like the best toolbox in the game. There are so many rank 4 options.
They were swept under the rug when Links got introduced. Completely.
Well, it was so difficult because, like, I mean, with like Synchros and Links, you get that monster into the graveyard right away, but like with Ixies, you had to like keep them on the board. And even if you got to detach that one material, a lot of the times it was like suboptimal, or it required your opponent to have certain cards on the field, or like some sort of really specific thing. But now you can kind of make them at your leisure depending on what your matchup is.
Yeah. I like that we are going to see a lot of the old cards come back. That was a big thing. They had such a big card pool within their fusions. They had such a big card pool within their Synchros, their Xyz, and some degree Pendulum. But like, they didn't see play. There was no point of them being there. Like, everything was gone. Everything that was like devalued to the max. They're just like collectors.
There was
items.
just so much more emphasis on Links.
Yeah.
Like, you had to play Links, and that just made it so crowded, and you couldn't really utilize all of these different toolbox cards in your decks.
Yeah.
But now we have so many more options.
Well, Nightmares tried to be the toolbox.
Well, they were the
toolbox of Links.
But like, now you just have so many more options, and I think it's a really good step.
All right. Well, those are our thoughts, guys. What are your thoughts about the new MR2020? What are some of the really good cards that perhaps we missed? Leave it down in the comment section below. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
What decks are you guys planning on playing?
This opens it up quite a lot. I'm actually quite excited for the upcoming regionals right after.
Yeah, we have a regionals coming in April.
I want to see the variety. This is going to introduce. It's going to be a very messy.
I have no idea what to side deck.
Don't worry. Duelist Academy guys are going to take the top spots right away.
But we do have 2 ban lists coming up. Like, we have one. Well, theoretically, we have one in January.
Yeah, that's going to be like before.
Probably one in March, April.
I feel like it kind of like makes the previous ban list not as important. It's like this is the last format, whatever. Everyone's gonna take a bit more casual. Yeah. But what's gonna really matter is the one that's gonna be in April. Usually it's about like 3 months apart, so I'm gonna guess April. April's probably the one.
That's gonna be a huge ban list.
And because that ban list has to address something like, what about the Trishula loop? I don't want to get my hand like 3 cards looped away and then like the platform thing that rank 9 that rips another one.
Phantom Fortress, Enter Blathmir.
Yeah, that thing.
And my god. So that's 4 Omega, DDR back the Omega, Standby Phase, Omega Rip. That's 6 cards gone. Have fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's not how you...
Which is not okay with me.
Joke's on you, I'm playing Thunder. Good luck ripping... Oh, I gotta search up my entire hand!
You let me play during my turn 0.
Alright, guys. Okay, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this piece of content. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, hit the subscribe button. And ding that notification bell, or else I'm gonna send you guys to the Shadow Realm.
We'll leave you guys back in the previous Master Rule.
Oh yeah.
We're all gonna move forward without you. We're gonna have option to everything else. You guys can only play Links.
Yeah. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe, ding notification bell, and we'll see you guys in the next one. So don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV.